well, since early February, I guess, maybe even January. And so I stepped up to just did the barbell. I'm like, okay, it was feeling a little lopsided, and putting the weights on it actually made it a little easier. So I was telling him about the triple digit club. I said, I didn't even know there was one. And I didn't think why would Steve think I hit that at 97 pounds? So Steve's like, oh, you can do that. I said, I'll try it next time. He goes, no, try it, just do it. I go, okay, all right, I'll do it next time. Maybe.
Well, you got to think about the compound effect that the weight training does. And for you to do 97 pounds at 3 or 4 repetitions, you can do a one repetition max at 115 maybe.
Okay.
Maybe 120, depending on your confidence level. I mean, your ability. And again, if you had Steve-O there, for example, he could probably spot you. Like he could be behind you and making sure. So that reinforcement, that sense of security, knowing that in the event you were to come down like even a quarter of an inch deeper than you wanted to, somebody be able to catch you and bring you back up. But yeah, I mean, I would easily say, I mean, there's 300-pound clubs, there's 1,000-pound clubs that are combined, like a squat, bench press, and a deadlift. But I'm just talking about the squat. Like that's impressive. 61 years young and squatting with a barbell. Now there's a difference. That's why I put barbell squat, to have a load that's on your back, on your traps, that's putting pressure and tension through your spine and through all the major muscle. For you to do that, that's impressive. That's taken work and it's taken dedication to get to where you're at. So give yourself that honor and credit.
I was a lot weaker in the bench press though. I felt weaker. Like, and maybe if somebody was there, but when you're like, I have 70 pounds and I did 45, like I say, just do 45, 5 or 6 times. And then I lowered the bar. I'm learning how to navigate the gym that way. So I lowered like where the bar sits down to the lowest one. And then I started adding weight on it. And man, the 70 pounds, like two, like I was a little nervous, like I was going to tweak my back, or like I just have to get it back up on that bar. And last time I think when I was on the video with you, I did 75. So, but my lat pull down was still 70. I did 74 times. So I haven't really lost it. I haven't lost a lot of strength, which surprises me because I haven't been in the gym, but that's what 30-minute body weight workouts do for you every day.
Yep, I sure do. And you're only progressing from here. So let's make this a productive conversation. Let's have some fun today. And I know that you have a lot on your mind. But before we do that, I want to run something by you that I've been thinking about for the last couple of days. And it really has to do with the sharings you've given me with your snapshots, with your conversations. And it's great that you're connecting with people and you're being that flower and you're inspiring people and at least getting people to express interest in what's possible for them and what's hopeful, or what their potential could be. And there's a few things that really sort of hit me, and consistency was one of them. I believe there's been a few people that say I'm just not consistent. Even Nate, I reached out to him yesterday and he said, yeah, I'm just not as consistent as I know I should be, even being out of town. He's on vacation right now in Arizona. And accountability. Accountability is sort of that universal nucleus of a word that people don't feel that they're accountable to themselves, and certainly not to other people in order to accomplish more of what they want in their health. So I was thinking here, I'm like, even some of the greatest coaches we know talk about accountability. Accountability, accountability, accountability. But what are they doing about it? They're not doing anything about it. Unless you have to invest, a couple $1,000s for their services, there's no sense of accountability. So I'm thinking, why don't we have more to contribute? let's build something so that people can be accountable. And what I'm thinking is, why don't I just create a scoreboard similar to what we use and open it up to like 100 people for free? Let's do like a 2-week accountability run. And so they tell themselves what they're going to do, when they're going to do it. They put it on the scoreboard, or one of us puts it on the scoreboard. Maybe we get Amy involved or whoever has the bandwidth to do it. And we just say for 2 weeks, what can you accomplish in 2 weeks by doing one of the small, simple promises to yourself? And that sort of could be a feeder into them being like, hey, if I can do that, I want to do more. So it's been on my mind for, like I said, the last couple of days, because there's people out there that need it. Like they're seeking assistance. They don't know what they need to do or how to do it. And they don't feel that they can do what you're doing, as inspiring as it is. From an outsider looking in, someone that doesn't do any exercise or any movement, especially when you have somebody like, I can't remember the young lady's name that you had shared with me yesterday.
Maureen.
I just don't like working out.
I didn't either.
Right, but that's a story that you're telling yourself. But you know that is the pathway. You being more physically active, and you can call it whatever you want. I call it training. People can call it exercise. You can call it working out. What does that mean to somebody? Like if you ask them, how do you define working out? Well, I got to go to the gym for 5 days per week and I have to be in there for an hour. Well, what if that wasn't true? What if your definition of how you've defined that for the last 10, 15, 20 years, or whoever indoctrinated that into you, that's what was required for you to actually become the healthier version of yourself? So what if it was just taking a 10-minute walk? What if that was your workout? So I'm thinking, like, I'd be happy to put something together. We could market it. We could talk about it and see if we can get people just to jump in. Maybe a new Facebook group starts evolving. And now you have this scoreboard where people have access to it. And here's the thing, though. I don't want us to resource much of our energy for it. I want this to be a platform for people to be accountable to themselves to show up on the scoreboard. We have people that invest $97 per month, or now it's $397 or $297 per month, and they still have a tough time getting into the scoreboard. So I would expect that 100 people that get involved in this complimentary program, maybe 20% of them do it, maybe 30% of them do it. But you can't say that you weren't given the opportunity.
So, reward, competition. Michelle was talked a lot about, her competitive nature when we were together. And so here's how my brain works. When you said, wow, you're in the triple digit club, I didn't even know there was one. But you know what? If I did know there was one, like that, I would work towards that. Like, what are your thoughts on this? What's the reward for being accountable on a scoreboard for 2 weeks? What's their reward outside of the fact that they did it? Because a lot of times they don't see, there again, they're not doing it for themselves, but they'll do it for an award, like everybody who does this gets like blah. And they'll do it for the blah. They'll do it for the t-shirt, but they won't do it for their own accountability.
Okay, so I was going to ask you to be specific, but now you're talking about something tangible. I don't think there is anything tangible. I think we have to start, like, if people are going to continue behaving in a certain way to get a certain thing that's going to deliver them this validation, then they're going to continue getting the same results that they've always gotten. What I want to go to is what's the reward? The reward is you proving to yourself that you're a committed person. You proving to yourself that you can serve yourself first and still accomplish what you do in your day plus some, because now you're using your energy that you're cultivating and sharing that amongst the people that you care about. I don't think there is, there's certainly, I mean, not a monetary, there's no tangible thing. I think it's just to say, hey, if you're out there saying, I'm just not accountable or I need accountability, let's provide the accountability to a level, to a step above that most everybody does or doesn't do.
Do you
I
do
know
you
I know where you're going with that. I know what you're thinking.
but here's my thought is, will they w- we what you provide each week though, see what you provide in the instruction, like what would it be? What's going to and I'm just going to say it. Will they feel like if they fail at this, it's another false start?
Well, of course they will. But of course they will, but imagine the empowerment they're going to have when they have awareness to what a false start is.
Mm,
They don't know what it is now.
mhm.
They're just in a point like if they try and fail again, guess what? They don't believe they can do it. But
Because
what if they started understanding that this is part of the process?
because I never really looked at it as false starts until you talked about it, but then people outside that aren't a part of your influence, they use that terminology of false starts. And so now I have awareness around that and how people are thinking. So yeah, it's helping them to become aware. Like, but if they're already aware of what a false start is, what's going to get them off of or out of that hole, Steve?
Well, I think there's several ways we can do this, and I think the most effective, and I have to think big term. I have to think on a spectrum of 100 people.
Hmm.
I might just come into it and say, "Congratulations, you're here. Expect to fail.
Mm.
Expect to continue doing the same thing that you've done in the past and get the same result." Well, what do you mean? Well, why am I part of this group? Why am I part of this environment then? Everybody talks about how great the environment is. Because today we're going to be, or for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be focusing on what you need to do. We need to focus on your behavior and what you are going to accomplish for the next 14 consecutive days for you to get a jump start, for this to be a catalyst to what you want more of. But guess what? Change isn't about doing more, change is about being more. And until you're willing to be the person that is at the end of the vision, then you can continue doing the things that you've always been doing and getting the same result. Well, what does that mean, Steve? I don't understand. Let's talk about be, do, have. If you're here because you don't have the motivation, you tell yourself, when I have the motivation, I'll start doing my 15 minutes of movement. That's where we're all at. It's a broken model. That's what you've all done here if there's 100 people. And then when you have the motivation, then you're going to do the walking or whatever you decide you're going to do as a behavior. And then you're going to become successful. And you're going to become like Gail and Amy Izzo and all the people that you see in our community. But that's not the framework we work from. See, what you think, people are going to sign up for this knowing what they want. They want to be healthier. They'll do whatever it takes to be healthier. And in their minds, it's accountability. But what we're going to deliver is what they need, not what they want. And it's not a this for that. It's just the reality of it. You're going to come in wanting to be healthier and doing the things that Gail and Amy and Michelle and Josh, what they're doing. I want to do what they're doing because that's what you hear. What are you doing? But when they're done with the 14 days, I trust that they're going to start discovering that it's not about the doing, it's about who they need to be. And if they can hoist that thought and that new idea or even methodology over their head and use that as their reward, being like, wow, I get it. It's not a shirt that's going to hang in their closet. And then next thing you know, because they've played the weight loss game for the last 14 days, they're going to be playing the transformation game for the next 14 days and not even realizing it.
So is this going to be all about something physical? No, you know,
I don't think it's going to be anything different. The way I envision it, it's not going to be anything different than what we're doing as Promise Keepers now in our 90-day transformation.
but they're going to have one thing. Are they going to have two? Like, I'm just curious.
I still think there's two things.
Okay.
I still think one of them is going to be movement. And if you're not willing to participate and do movement, then you're not part of my environment.
Mhm.
You're not part of my proximity if you're not willing to do the part of movement. Because we know that by you, like, movement's part of the transformation. And then we'll talk about an ancillary thing. What's one thing that you know you should be doing that you're not doing currently that is going to move you closer to what you envision yourself as?
What about this? What if we just do something that has one promise? You're going to move, and in 2 weeks, and then after 2 weeks, those who want to stick around add the ancillary promise. And now they have 4 weeks worth of, okay, because I've done my movement, I'm confident. Now I'm going to add in, because they're not getting the lessons, right? But if we can get people moving, like I showed up back up to, you call it. And let's say after 14 days, I was like, okay, you know, that was the one thing. I didn't have anything else. It was one thing. I showed up and started moving. And then, so if people just have one thing, they want to just start moving to be healthier.
I like where you're going with this. And it could be presented at the end of 2 weeks saying, hey, we're going to give you some more. You've been doing so great. Let's find one more place where you can create a winning streak in your life. And it's not about adding more. It's about you holding the promise that you made to yourself. So that could turn into a 30-day program. So here's what I'm thinking too, is this could certainly be a feeder into the next 90-day transformation.
Mm-hmm.
So starting it now or in the next week or even anytime this month it'd be premature, I think.
I was thinking May 1st.
Well, that was still, I'd like to probably start at the end of May. Now I'm thinking about it, because I think
Okay.
May is going to be end of May to end of June. We're starting to close out our 90-day sprint.
Let's do the middle of May. And here's why. Because summer's here. People want to be fit for summer. If you wait till the end of May, now we're in summer. So they're still going to have the anticipation of, okay, I've got 2 weeks to, and you know their mindset. I've got 2 weeks. I want to shed 15. Like, look at me. I'm on a 2-week like commitment to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're entering summer feeling great about what they've accomplished going into summer. Then add that, because when is it? The end of June is when that gives them 2 more weeks. So now they're into the middle of June, where now you're starting to promote the next 90-day method. And so they can, they've got 2 weeks. So I think the middle of May would be a better time frame than waiting till the end of May.
Yeah, I like the fact that we just talked that out. I think that makes sense. And then that way, if somebody wants to jump into the next 90-day transformation method, we can give them, like a $50 discount code or something per month for them to register. If they wait till we actually take the registration, then it's going to be the regular rate.
And they've already proven to themselves that they could keep a commitment for 4 weeks, 2 weeks, and then for 4 weeks, and then 2 weeks with the other one. And so how much more successful will they be coming into the transformation method already knowing how to chart their scoreboard?
Well, here's what I like about this as well, and this might be something that could easily be overlooked. Mid-May to mid-June, 4 weeks if somebody sticks with it. When they stick with it, they can choose. They say, hey, I want more of this. I get this now. I need more. I want to learn under the surface things. I want to learn what the things we're talking about that we're talking about in our conversations, like part of the group. So then let's say mid-June, we end this 30-day run with these current complimentary participants. They're going to soon discover how the environment is needed after they're no longer in the environment.
Mhm.
So now, I mean, think about the Promise Keepers that had like a 4 or 5 day window without the scoreboard. People are like, I need my scoreboard. I need to get in there. Like it's like crack. It's like they need to get in there and track things, because that is their reward. By them documenting it, it releases that dopamine. That is their congratulatory honoring to themselves. They don't have that now. You know, again, Pacetto talks about accountability in his Choose You, right? Doesn't he talk about that in Choose You?
Mhm.
And he says accountability, you know, making sure that you're, but what does he do? Like, how does he follow up with that? He really doesn't. He might talk about in the call, like, hey, what was your Choose You? Like, how did you hold yourself accountable? I want this to be such a simple and profound way for people just to show up at a simple level. And they're going to go into the Google sheet and they're just going to doc just like we do now.
Mhm.
And we'll soon find out. And here's the best part, from at least from my perspective, is that the ones that do the work, the simplest thing, just if you tell yourself you're going to do 15 minutes of strength training and you do 15 minutes of strength training, you document it in the scoreboard. The ones that complete that for 14 days or 30 days, those are the ones I want in the 90-day transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Not the ones that say, oh, I forgot, or, you know, I can't figure out how to upload the Google sheet. Like those people, those are not the people I'm looking for. I'm not here to save anybody. I'm here to coach and teach people that are willing to want more for themselves and figuring it out. So that in itself is going to weed out 75% of the people.
Yeah. And so 75, so you get, let's just say out of this little experiment, you get, or not really an experiment, but
it's a service. It's a service. We're offering a service. We're contributing to the people that are in our world that essentially silently have their hand up and say, I need help. Mm-hmm. Like, I need accountability. I know I need to do something. I know what it is that I need to do. I'm not doing it, but they're not sure where to go with it. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking of the people that you've connected with and you've shared your stories with and you've shared your messages. The ones that they don't feel they're consistent. They don't feel committed. Well, let's prove that to them, that you can. Everybody's committed. They're just committed to the wrong things. Like their priorities are different. Okay, if somebody can show that they're consistent, I'm just not a consistent person. Well, I disagree. Do you get up and go to work every day? Yeah, I do. Do you put makeup on every day? I do. So then you're consistent at putting on makeup to present yourself in a certain way for when you show up to work. You are consistent. You just haven't chosen to be consistent in your health, in your fitness, in delivering more energy into your life. So they're consistent. They just haven't created that priority yet. And we're going to share with them and show them how simple it really can be. Not easy, but it's simple.
Yeah.
Awesome. 2 more things I want to talk about, and then we'll talk about your nutrition here. I would like to, you've been doing such a great, phenomenal job in showing up in your own life and what you're doing in our time together. And like, you're just fun to work with. And you're like, you're easy. You're easy to share this with because you do the work. Like, you take it serious. And I'd like for you to co-coach with me on this process.
What does that look like?
That looks like this. in our conversations, like we're doing our group Zooms, you can be like the moderator for the chats. Okay, not necessarily asking questions in there, but answering the questions that people have. Because I can't keep up with the chats in there. And then once the Zoom's gone, the chats are gone. I feel like there's missing coaching pieces that can be in there, even if it's just writing down the questions so that we can address them later. And then also, like, this content, like you really understand what we're delivering here in this 90-day, because you've been through it. This is your 5th time going through it. So it's not just going through it, it's by you actually understanding it and knowing it and absorbing it and internalizing it. I don't have all the clarity to how that looks, but I'm already thinking like going on the road doing this and like sharing this message and this movement with different areas in the country possibly. And I would enjoy having you part of that.
So Michelle said to me, I think it was just the morning as we were taking off, and she's like, so you bring a lot of people to the sprint. It's like, are you compensated for that? And I said, no, I don't care to be compensated. It's a joy for me to bring people to the sprint, to have them, to introduce them to Steve, because I trust Steve and I know that everyone I'm going to bring into Steve's world, he's going to treat them just like he treats me. And so I don't have to worry about that. I said, I do see us doing something like going out and sharing this. So when you just said that, it was just like confirmation of what I said to Michelle. I was like, I just feel like we're going to do something together in the future. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it looks like, but I just feel it. So I'm just happy that I'm a part of this whole program.
Yeah, I am as well. And like I said, I think we talked about this. We did talk about this previously, having, an association program or whatever it is where you
Affiliate.
Yeah, affiliate. There you go. Affiliate program. I don't know if we're quite there yet. And probably by the end of the year, I just haven't put much energy into that. I just want to make sure that we're serving people the best way we possibly can and contributing where we can. And truth be told, again, is that the dangling carrot? Like, is that the incentive for somebody to be like, oh, I'm going to get a X% kickback, by referring somebody, where I really want it to come from their heart. Like, I've asked several times, or at least offered, I said, hey, share this with somebody that needs to hear it. And when it comes from a place of generosity and from a point of like they really care about people and they're sharing it, like I think I would need to see that, not from you, of course, but from others. I would need to see that or experience that first to know that it's coming from the right place. Not because they're getting a specific kickback, because I truly feel, and I'm a huge believer, that their investment that they're getting is so well worth it. For them to get their life back and transforming their life and changing and expanding who they are. And so that's where I'm at with that.
It'd be an honor. I'd enjoy it very much.
Yeah. So like, I think I see co-coaching as just you observing things that I don't even catch, because I'm in such sort of a zone when we're on these calls. Like, how it is, like you're hosting a conversation and you're taking one at a time, but there's certain blind spots that could be seen. And if they're to be addressed in the conversation or on the call, you would be able to start that conversation. Right.
Okay.
But I just wanted to plant that in your mind, because I feel that there's going to be a lot more scaling going on with what we're doing in this method. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about your 11 days here. Actually, is it 10 days now?
Yeah, well, yeah. The 24th of April. So today's 14th.
All right, so real quick, the 24th. Okay, so here's what's interesting. The 24th, is there going to be, is there a big You Call It event going on?
No, I don't even know what day that is.
It's a Saturday. It's my son's birthday party.
Oh yeah, it is a Saturday. It's right here on my sheet.
Yeah.
I don't know. Amy's coming. Amy's going to come Saturday, and that we had planned that, we'll do our measurements and, our weigh-in and stuff, and that'll be my completion. Now hers is going to be 2 weeks after that, but I didn't measure myself this sprint because I was gone, and I thought, well, I'm not going to do it during. I'm just going to wait till the 24th. So I'll have one complete year of that.
I think that's where, like, if there's one, I don't want to even call it a downfall, is I'm so focused on the present and the future. I oftentimes don't reflect like where it started. It's like, the 24th will be the 1 year anniversary of us starting the 90-day sprint, was what we originally called it. And as I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm thinking all the promise keepers that we've engaged with, all the way from like Andy and to like Juanita, and and what's Juanita's birthday today?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Facebook notified me. I think about all the impact we've made, even if it was just a small sliver of impact, and it was just a little bit of energy or a little bit of contribution and frequency. Like, it's such an honor to be a human that has the ability to make an impact with another human positively and, and effectively, right?
So Maureen messaged me last night. I didn't see it till this morning. She says, "Oh, I'm not going to be able to work out with you tomorrow because I forgot I have BNI at 7:15." And so I said, "Okay, well, we'll see you tomorrow." And then she came back. She says, "I just want you to know, at BNI today, we had a question: is who is a person of influence in your life?" And she says, "I named you as my person of influence because of what," she says, "we have a BNI meeting because of you, because you influenced me to start a BNI chapter. And now we're BNI strong." And it's like, I forget, like, I was like, oh yeah, and I thought about that. I thought, the things that I've done in life that I take for granted, we've been successful members of BNI for 16 years. I take that for granted because it's our habit, right? It's our accountability. It's what
part
we
of your
do.
identity already. So, it's just who you are. It's your identity.
And so me working out now for a year, having been through your program and under this new knowledge, and it really is new knowledge. It's new understanding. It's like, this is my identity now. Walking it, when I look back and think, okay, well, I came home, by the way, I'm down another 1.5 pounds because I was 136.6 today. And it's just being mindful, right? It's movement, but it's being mindful of what I'm eating and making better choices. Not that I made tremendously poor choices, because I maintained who I was being gone for 2 months. And so that showed me that, well, that's my new identity. That's who I am. I'm going to work out every day. And I don't want to take that for granted, because it wasn't that long ago that I wasn't that person. And so I think that's why people reach out, or people engage in different posts that I make, that I have to go back. I go, who is this person? Are they stalking me? I might have to block them. I had a conversation with them 10 years ago. I'm like, all right, I'll just leave them there. We have one mutual friend who I don't even really know that person.
Yeah.
And they're engaging with me. So it's weird, Steve, but I don't want to take for granted, but I also don't live in the past. I forget that I was, the realtor of the year. I was like, I don't live in that moment of being affiliate of the year. Because honestly, I don't know if I reached that. I don't know if I want to live. That's not who I am. That's not my identity.
It doesn't define you.
No. And I'm still figuring that out. I've even been thinking about, and not going back to school, but just being more interested in fitness and, because I don't really know anything about fitness, to be honest. I know how to move my body, but I don't know I don't know the underlying
You know
things.
more than you think you know, and honestly, you probably know more than you should know, if that makes sense.
Nah, it doesn't make sense, but I'll take
You
your
you
word for it.
you just like keeping it simple.
Mhm.
Like I already have a feeling that this nutrition conversation could get complicated.
All right, so let's talk nutrition.
Yes.
To the like, is there specific things I should think about over the next 10 days in as I'm expending as much energy as I'm expending?
I would say the one thing you need to focus on, if there was one thing over the next 10 days, it's consistency. When we're going to have our conversation now, you're going to lock it into place. You're going to be consistent with that for 10 consecutive days. No
Okay.
wavering.
Okay, I can do that.
Simple as that. Don't overthink it. And it's going to come down to your macronutrients. Like, let's just figure out what's the right balance for you at this time, at this place for the next 10 days. Now, let me give you a disclaimer here. This is new for me. Like, I don't promote, I'm not an advocate of giving a 10-day prescription. I'm just not. Like
Mhm.
I go 30 days at the least, 90 days if I'm helping an athlete prepare for a show. We're talking 12 to 16 weeks of meal plan and prepping to get there. So, and we also have to agree that what we're going to decide on today is not going to be sustainable.
Mhm.
Right? So we just know that for the next 10 days. Now, again, there could be variations of it. You can keep things that are really going to serve you, but you're not going to maintain the same strategy for, a duration of time.
Mhm.
But it could come pretty close. Like I'm not going to put you in harm's way. I'm not going to put you in a place where you're not safe, but I'm going to put you in a place where you're just fueling yourself efficiently and you're just really disciplined to the nutritional balances that are going to be set forth for you. And here's the best part. After 10 days, we can always reassess.
Mhm.
You might enjoy it so much that you want to do it for a month, you know? So let's start with just the real simple things. Let's talk about proteins. Protein, protein, protein. The king of nutrients, baby. What's your current protein intake?
Um, my quick assessment's going to be probably between 60 and 80 grams a day.
All right, so this might be the challenge for you then. We're gonna bump your proteins up. We're gonna get your proteins with all this. There's math involved, so I'm just gonna round it to 140. Let's go 110 grams of protein.
Mhm.
How many meals are you eating on average per day right now?
Well, yesterday I always start with an RX bar in the morning, and then yesterday I had yogurt with a banana and some Ezekiel cereal, and then I had tuna salad sandwich with plantain chips on Ezekiel toast. And then last night we had sweet potato fries in the air fryer, and I probably had about 3 ounces of steak. It wasn't very good, but I choked it down.
So carbs, 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 carbs.
Yeah.
How much protein did you have yesterday?
I'm gonna say there's 12 and 15 and 8, 23, 23 and 46, 58, 80. I probably had 110 grams of protein yesterday.
Can you share with me the protein types? What did you have?
So I had the RX bar, which is, I had 2 of those yesterday. So there's 12 grams of protein in each bar.
Okay.
The yogurt has 15 grams of protein. It's the 000 yogurt. The Ezekiel cereal, half a cup, is 8 grams of protein. The tuna salad, I gave that 30 grams. From what I visualized, I didn't weigh it out, but I'm gonna guess it was about 30 grams. I had a tablespoon of peanut butter because I just needed something last night after my walk, and so that was what, 4 grams or 8 grams, I forget. And then the steak last night, probably 20 grams, 20 to 25.
And that adds up to 110, you think?
Well, I don't have so there's 14.
Maybe. Okay, we'll leave it at that.
I'll add it up later. I haven't been calculating that.
All right, so are you still doing eggs?
Yes, I do eggs. Not every day, but for 10 days I could do eggs every day. I enjoy eggs.
Okay. So here's where you need to compromise and say, whatever you're deciding to do today, for the rest of the day, you're going to do every day. Just do every day. The only thing you can probably swap out is maybe the quality of the carbohydrate or the quality of the protein source. Meaning this. So let's say chicken, for example, and you do 6 ounces of chicken. When's the last time you've eaten 6 ounces of a lean quality protein?
Oh, probably the last time we had filet mignon.
Like a week ago?
Yeah.
6 ounces of filet mignon, man, that must have been like heaven.
Yes, definitely. I don't know. I say that, but I haven't weighed my food in a long time, so I really shouldn't be calculating that out, to tell you.
What do you envision the next 10 days to look like? In 10 days, you're locked into your nutrition, the discipline, the dedication, the commitment. What does your life look like in 10 days from today?
I'm strong, I'm fit, I'm leaner.
I was gonna say, you're all those things now.
I believe that paying attention to my nutrition along with the movement I'm going to be putting forth, that the scale will read 132 pounds. I think.
Now, please don't get attached to that.
I'm not attached to it.
Okay. Because again, we're talking 10 days. I mean, we could and again, there could be some foods that are causing inflammatory issues. Mm-hmm. Let's just say, for example, it could be yogurt. Mm-hmm. Are you removing the yogurt out? And I don't know, because I don't know if you have any food intolerances or if you have any food sensitivities. By removing a food out that you're currently eating, it could quickly release 2 to 3 pounds of just water or inflammation. So we won't maybe know within a 10-day span. I mean, we could by doing the elimination diet, but if it were me, and if I were, let's say, even going into coaching an athlete mode, I would say we're going to keep this as clean or nutrient dense as possible. So that means no bars. We're going to eliminate dairy. We're going to keep it honest so that we know that the foods that you're eating, without question, are delivering a benefit.
Okay.
10 days.
So all right. 2 eggs. When I was eating eggs on a regular basis, I would have 2 whole eggs and 1 egg white.
Okay.
So you're saying going back to my veggie stir fry. Can I have sweet potatoes and potatoes?
Yes.
Okay.
Preferably sweet potatoes. But if you want to go, like, if you can confidently say that regular potatoes and the starch in regular potatoes does not, like, it's not causing any type of disruption in your digestive system, then, I'll go hash browns. Like, just go get the bag of, like, I don't know what brand it is, a green bag, and it's just potatoes.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
there's nothing in it, just potatoes.
right.
And you'll easily find that a serving is not that big, but that just means that if you're eating what you normally eat, you're probably eating 2 or 3 servings.
Yeah.
So think about it this
Well,
way. So take all the confusion, all the clutter out of your head right now, because I see your brain smoking. See your brain smoking. Here's what I want you to think about. I want you to put your attention right now to bookending your day. Bookend your day for yourself. What does your first meal look like? What does your last meal before you go to sleep look like?
is it going to be the same every day?
Same every day for 10 days.
And first meal is the first thing I eat in the morning?
Yeah, short of coffee or water.
Okay.
So let's talk about that egg scramble.
All right. So ideally, how about, since I'm not going to do the RX bars, if I do 2 whole eggs and 2 egg whites?
Okay, that's 20 grams of protein. If those are large eggs, that's exactly 20 grams. I know my egg proteins.
I know you do.
I know.
And
I know all egg proteins.
all right. So, and then the scramble will be, like mushrooms, onions, spinach,
Fine, fine.
sweet potatoes.
Okay. Now measure the sweet potatoes. That's gonna give you the biggest bang for your buck on your caloric intake. So you're doing sweet potatoes. You could probably afford to put in maybe 2 ounces of sweet potatoes, 3 ounces, depending on how you prepare the rest of your day. Because I'd like to see your what's your caloric intake? I didn't ask you. Are you
I don't
trying?
know. I've
Okay.
never tracked my calories.
Did you try? Okay, so yesterday you said there was about 110 grams of protein. How many carbohydrates yesterday?
I don't even know that. See, I don't know that
Okay.
stuff. I don't
Okay.
ever track it.
Okay. You'll have much more awareness in the next 10 days how this works out, because you will.
Is it still okay to have Ezekiel bread, or do you want me to not have bread right now?
How serious are you?
You don't know me by now?
I'll tell you what, let's take it out.
All right. I mean, it's really going back to the Whole30 diet, which I did for 8 months. So
It's
I
really,
can do it for 10 days.
it's really no different. It's really no different. But now it's just validating it from our conversation and saying, what are you willing to create as non-negotiables over the next 10 days? Let's get more over the next 240 hours.
Mhm.
However you want to break it down.
Okay.
And again, these are going to be very nourishing foods. Like, this isn't like sacrificing or suffering. I mean, these are foods that you're going to enjoy.
Oh, I enjoy. So avocados, I need to have those avocados in there.
What's the nuts you can't have anymore?
Um, I
Are there?
I just eat it. I eat them all, but I don't eat them every day. So
Okay.
therefore,
Let's make that your evening snack. Let's do like a clean quality nut of some sort, like an almond, walnuts,
I have those here.
pecans. Avoid
Okay.
peanuts. No peanuts, no pistachios.
How much?
1 ounce.
1
1
ounce?
ounce. Yeah, 1 ounce. And I would tell you, like, 15 to 20 almonds, depends on the size of the almond or the nut. So just, you'll bring your scale out. 1 ounce. 1 ounce is going to be 1 serving. It's not much. Just to let you know, it's not much, but those with the fats in there, those add up quickly. You're talking about 150, 160 calories per 1 ounce. And on top of that, here's what we're going to do for 10 days. I would like for you to eat 2 hard-boiled egg whites with those almonds. And I'm just selecting the egg because I know you enjoy egg, and it's going to be the quickest and best absorbing. Now, again, this isn't like ideal, but I'm going to play with this a little bit. I want to see. I'm thinking protein. So if we're getting 8 grams of protein, 8 grams of protein in those 2 hard-boiled egg whites, and we're getting about 6 grams of protein in your nut, then you're looking at about 15 grams of protein before you go to, is it 15, 12, 15?
It's 14.
14, okay, so about 14, 15 grams before you go to sleep. It probably could be more, but again, it's all contingent on what the rest of the day looks like.
Okay. Any types, I don't ever hear you eating like sausage or bacon or anything like that. Do you not eat pork at all?
I do. I just like, if it's available and the family's eating it and like that's just what's for breakfast or something like on a Sunday, then yeah. I don't really enjoy bacon. I don't like, the fat doesn't serve me well in there. But sausage has a lot of fillers. Now that could be certainly something that you can do as a maintenance type thing, but that will not be part of what we're doing here for the next 10 days.
Okay. So do you have like, I know you have meat protein in your breakfast scramble. Are we not putting meat in
Well,
this?
I was going to suggest that, but then we sort of went into a different direction. I would say, but because now we're talking about 20 grams of protein for your first meal already, by you adding 3 ounces. So here's how you have to equate this. Every 3 ounces of a lean quality protein, I'm talking about chicken, turkey, beef, even crustacean. If you decide to go with like fish, like sometimes I'll put shrimp in my eggs. Like, I have no problem with that. I mean, anything that's going to give me that protein source, every 3 ounces is going to feed you 20 grams of protein. So if you do 3 ounces, now you've just doubled your protein source. That's 40 grams of protein. I'm not opposed to 40 grams of protein per first meal of the day. I certainly take in more than that, but you also weigh less than I do. So it could be 2 ounces. If you do 2 ounces, now you're talking 12 grams of protein or 13 grams of protein. I would probably start with 2 ounces because now you're talking about 32, 33 grams of protein, not including whatever's in the vegetables, but it's really not going to make that much of a difference.
Yeah.
Let me grab some water real quick, please.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I have my kombucha. I am really, really, really sore from last night's games.
Yeah. What were your highlights?
Well, my highlights are, every time I was up to bat, every time for a doubleheader, I ended up at least on first base. So that's not the case for our entire team. I'm certainly the fastest one on our team, probably by a long shot. And it's just, I'm just grateful I have the ability to put effort in. Like, I swear, I was telling my wife last night when she was just barely awake, because I got home at about a little after 11 o'clock. And I go, I swear, like, they had to recruit 3 or 4 people, men, to this team that just had submerged from their mom's basement as they were playing video games. Like, they just were like, ooh, like routine fly balls, dropping routine fly. I'm like, you know what? That's okay. We're going to be bad before we get better. But we got to pick them up. We got to encourage them. Encourage people, don't discourage them.
That's right. That's why.
No, just being out there was a highlight. So that's your first meal essentially. Oh, you
Mhm.
know what? And avocado.
Yeah, I added that in there.
Okay. Avocado will probably be a staple. As a matter of fact, you could probably take a whole avocado and eat one avocado a day. However you want to, however that serves you best. What do I mean by that? I mean, you could have half the avocado on your eggs. You could have the second half of your avocado like for lunch, like slice it up and put it on, like your protein.
Can I do a smoothie for lunch like
Yes,
every day?
yes,
Because my smoothies are very clean.
yes.
They're fruit, they're avocado, they're coconut cream, they're protein powder, collagen.
So
So,
again, the question is going to be, what's the nutritional value to that?
well, let me ask you. So it's got spinach, strawberries, half of an avocado, the coconut cream. You know what I say when I say that?
Yeah,
You are you opposed to that or no?
I'd have to see, is it sweetened or unsweetened?
It's unsweetened.
That'd be okay then.
It's just, like part of it's like the milk and then the cream is in there, so it just gives it some flavor. And then I use
Like
water
5 ingredients.
pretty much.
All right, 5 questions for you. How much? How much? How much? How much? How much? How much of those
Uh,
ingredients are in there?
well, there's a handful of spinach, so
You gotta weigh it out.
I gotta weigh.
Yeah, you gotta weigh it out.
Can you have too little or too much spinach?
No, but it's a habit that you want to get into because you're gonna realize. Like, I'll show you an example.
Okay.
All right, so I got to grab my scale. Let me grab a bowl. Real easy. So I have a standard bowl, like a cereal bowl.
Hmm.
I have my scale. Do that here. All right. So 85 grams. You can see that, but 85 grams is going to be one serving size, which is, it says 3 cups. But what the heck does 3 cups mean? I'm so glad that they put 85 grams. Because three
Hmm.
cups could be I just sort of like lofted in there, or
Right.
a cup could be I jam pack a cup in, which makes a big difference. So it's going to be 85 grams. So I'm going to take this scale and I'm just going to tear it out. It's at 0 ounces. I'm going to set it to grams though. Take a handful of spinach. Like, was this how much you would put in the, like,
I might put a little more than that.
okay. So we'll say a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that's 40. This is 40 ounces, or I'm sorry, excuse me, 40 grams of spinach. This is
Uh-huh.
not even half of a serving of spinach.
Okay.
So you're gonna get a lot of bang for your buck in spinach. As a matter of fact, people probably use this much spinach in like a regular salad, maybe a little bit more. So you're going for, I mean, it's very little calories, 20,
Uh-huh.
20 calories. So doing the math, let's say if this was 42, 43, exactly half of what a serving size is, it's 10 calories.
Right.
1 gram of protein, 1.5 grams of carbs. It's minimal. You're eating this for the phytonutrients. You're eating this because of the minerals. You're eating this because of the nature's greatness that it provides, not because you're trying to boost your caloric intake or to help from a like a macronutrient standpoint. That's going to be the same thing with any vegetable. Now, the fruits are a completely different story. The fruits are going to host calories.
Right.
They're going to host fructose, which is a sugar, it's a fruit sugar. Let me give you an example there. I think I can. I think my wife had taken all of my fruit. Strawberries.
Well, I've got strawberries in the freezer if you want me to grab them.
No, I'm just gonna. No, that's fine. But it's gonna be the same thing. So every strawberry container is a little bit different. Every strawberry container is different. So when you do the measurements, you have to remember how much heavier strawberries are than is spinach leaves.
Right.
So when you're doing that, it's going to be like probably 3, 4, 5 strawberries per serving, depending on the size of the strawberry. You know, those monster strawberries, that could be like one of those could be a serving size. So again, just like if there's one thing I would really appreciate you taking out of this next 10 days, and I think you said it earlier, you were alluding to, just create more awareness. Like you want to learn more about nutrition, then become part of the process of nutrition. You know, I know it's like, it's not enticing, but what you're going to learn in the next 10 days is something that you're going to take with you for years to come, the rest of your life to come, because you're going to remember things like that. Like spinach leaves, takes a lot of spinach leaves to create one serving. And so we underconsume a serving of spinach usually, where strawberries, it's easy to overconsume because of the volume, because of the weight, because of the nutritional value to it. Don't quote me on it, but in strawberries, a serving of strawberries is probably about 100 calories versus a serving of spinach is 20 calories.
Right.
So you can eat more spinach in volume than you can strawberries for the equivalency of what the nutritional value is going to be.
So I wrote down 60 grams of spinach, 3 to 5 strawberries, half of an avocado.
Okay, so don't do 3 to 5 strawberries. Go, everything's ounces.
Okay,
Ounces or grams. Start getting into that vocabulary. Start getting into that language.
So.
And then it's great because people are going to ask you, and they ask me all the time. Like when you saw me do my avocado measuring, and I've measured it, and it was 60 grams. When I put on there, I say I do 60 grams of avocado. People are like, how much is that? Well, it's equivalent, depending on the size of the avocado, it's about half of an avocado.
Okay, so this says that there's 50 calories. I don't buy this, Steve. 140 grams of strawberries is 50 calories.
Okay.
I mean, that just seems like not very many calories for that much strawberries. But let's see.
Is that just strawberries, or is there anything added to that frozen bag?
No, it's just ingredients, strawberries.
Okay.
So hang on.
I'm gonna.
It does seem light.
Um.
Well, let me see here. I'm gonna pull it up.
So.
Yeah, I guess that's about right. I mean, according to just some quick Google search. According to a quick Google search. Oh, and today, while you're doing that, today's mastermind conversation, I'm only going to be on there for 30 minutes. I can only be there for 30 minutes. I have to take my daughter. I have to take John to an orthodontist appointment. We're likely going to have to get braces for her.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strawberries is 120. What did it say? 137 grams.
Okay, then I would follow that.
All right.
So now again, that just even proves it more so that the fruits. Well, perhaps I'm thinking like strawberries is not one of my usual go-tos. I think of like bananas, and because a one banana on average is about 100 calories. So blueberries, I believe, are higher.
So is
apples are higher.
Fruit I should stay away from? So could I have, like, let's say I have instead of 8 strawberries, I do four strawberries and like a half a banana.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just keep it.
Just remember, the more ingredients you use, the more you need to track.
Right. Okay. So 140 grams of strawberries or fruit, half of an avocado. So I say a half avocado, but how many grams of avocado should, because some are big and some are small.
Again, there's no right answer for that. It's going to be, well, let's talk about that. It's because this is going to be a puzzle for you to put together. And today, I mean, provided you have some time today, just really sort of reflect on this and pull out the scale and have the fruits. Well, avocado is a fruit as well, which most people don't know because it has a seed in it. Measure things, weigh things out. I like to see you. I mean, it's not going to be 100% perfect. So don't try to get everything perfect. Just get close as you can without stressing yourself out. Let's shoot for 110 grams of protein.
Okay.
Let's create an equivalent of 110 grams of carbohydrate. That's going to be challenging because I believe you're over consuming carbohydrates on this 110 gram gauge.
See, that's where I get lost. Just tell me what to eat.
I know.
So what am I going to eat for dinner? Let's just go over that. I got my snack, I got lunch, I got breakfast. What's for dinner?
What's going to be for dinner is going to be this. You're going to have, I'm thinking, just hold on. I'm thinking in my brain, I'm mapping this out, what your breakfast was. So your breakfast is going to be, I'm thinking protein first. So 32, 33 grams of protein. That's your beginning. That's your first meal. Your last meal before you go to bed is 15. So you're talking close to 50 grams of protein, maybe a little short. Let's just round it to 15 with just the vegetables and things that aren't going to be in your eggs.
And my smoothie at lunch is going to be the collagen powder, which is just the collagen is 11 grams. So maybe there'll be 12 grams of protein.
All right, so that's 60. We'll call that 60 grams because then that'll offset the balance what was short on the 50. So now you're talking about an extra 50 grams of protein. So if you have 4 ounces of a lean quality protein, could be chicken, beef, pork, fish, white fish, salmon. Just keep in mind the beef and the salmon are going to also host a healthy dose of fats. Mm-hmm. That's going to be another learning experience you're going to have. Let me get my math here. I have about 6 minutes left. So that's 27 grams of protein. So 4 ounces of your lean quality protein on average will be 27 grams of protein. And again, you're going to find what you're going to complement with that protein. It could be quinoa, could be jasmine rice, or maybe a brown rice. It's something that, like, whatever carbohydrate you want to combine with that. It could be couscous. There's potatoes if you want to do potatoes, and that could be a great opportunity for you to add your avocado in there if you like. But you want to get a vegetable in there as well. Like, get yourself in some asparagus, green beans, a green vegetable of sorts. I mean, it doesn't have to be green. It could be like squash or kiwi, or not kiwi, squash, or it could be carrots. Just watch your carrots. So now if you do,
I'm going to make it easy. I'm going to make it a green vegetable. So it'll be either like
Brussels sprouts,
or broccoli or asparagus. Yep.
Easy. Yeah. I mean, just those 4 right there, you can create some great combinations throughout the week or the next 10 days. And then your carbohydrate. So just select a healthy, nutritious carbohydrate. Avoid butter, avoid oils on there. I mean, you can put some olive oil in there, but again, weigh the olive oil if you put it in there. Tablespoon of olive oil.
How about ghee?
Ghee, yeah. Ghee's fine.
Okay. So you're saying that 4 ounces of lean protein is 27 grams?
4 ounces, yes. on average. Yep.
All right.
So now I'm thinking just protein, because once your protein lines up, everything else really falls in place. Protein such it creates such a satiation to it, fills you up, and it does your body doesn't want to eat as many carbohydrates. So if you have a heavy carbohydrate meal plan, typically like a routine, you just simply swap those carbs for proteins. Your body doesn't know that it's a protein or a carbohydrate. It just knows that they have equivalent nutritional value. There's 4 calories per gram of protein, there's 4 calories per gram of carbohydrate. So measure out your carbohydrate, and it could be, and again, cooked, let's say it's a half a cup of cooked, let's say quinoa. You'll pull up what the nutritional value is for quinoa, half cup cooked. And then now that all aligns. And it's not at all about you being told, hey, this is what you need to eat. Here's how much you need to eat. When I'm working with an athlete, it takes me approximately 30 days for them to track diligently to see where their nutritional values are, how their body's responding, how their body is absorbing those nutrients, how is it serving them in the gym, for us to really lock down like what's going to be best for that particular athlete. As their body starts changing, as their body fat starts being reduced, the plan changes even further. So we're just saying, I think if what we're really going to gain out of this is that elevated awareness for the next 10 days. But now, after this conversation, I know I feel more confident that you have a better understanding, not the perfect understanding. That's delusional. Like, you just have a better understanding of where you're starting your day, where you're ending your day, and then what an ideal dinner looks like. And that would be similar to like what an ideal lunch would be if that's not the shake that you said you were going to make. So you could say first meal, shake, I'm just speculating here, lunch, dinner, bedtime, pre-bedtime snack, which is going to be 150 calories around. I'm sorry, that's going to be, about 160, 170 calories.
Is it really important to track calories?
No, not if you know what your macronutrients are.
Okay.
I mean, yes, it depends on the situation, right? It depends on, same thing. What gets measured gets improved. If you're measuring, and if you came to me and said, and let's say you never even track the macronutrients, I'd rather start with the macros and then work yourself up to the calories. But you said, hey, Steve, I know for a fact, because I track my calories, because everything that we look on has a caloric intake on it. I don't worry about all the other, the small stuff on there, the small print. I just worry about calories. And you said, and well, here's the issue with people. They're so darn inconsistent. They eat 1,900 calories one day, then they eat 2,200 calories the next day. Then there's a 2,700 calorie day. Then they're down to 1,500 calories because they felt guilty about eating the 2,700 calories. And there's so much variance in their eating, it's impossible to pinpoint where changes need to be made. So again, what was the word I said that we have to focus on? The one attribute. What's the one attribute we need to focus on for the next 10 days?
Consistency.
Yeah, consistency. Just creating once you make a decision on what this is without overthinking it, don't complicate it. You have enough information now where you can put this together. You have to get out of your own way, Gail, and say, all right, I'm just going to track it. I'm going to pull the scale out. It's going to take me a little extra time, but you get this opportunity to learn more about what you're putting in your body. Once you make that decision, it's done. Now, based on how your meal, and it doesn't matter the calories. I guess that's what I'm getting at. Right now, it does not matter how many calories you're consuming. What matters is that you are being dedicated to a process. But we've also removed some things. Removed bread, we removed dairy, we removed bars. So those things are out. Like, that's got to be sort of refreshing and rewarding to know that, like, I don't have to worry about that stuff.
Rewarding?
Just not the
Like
fact that not the fact you're taking it out, but the fact that there's clarity,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, and I'm excited. I mean, I got my shopping list because that'll be easy. The food, Steve and I have, we do eat well, so that's
All right, so here's how I know. You can track your calories without tracking your calories.
yeah, by tracking protein, right?
Protein, carbs, and fats.
Why is it I don't get carbs? I like in simple terms, tell me what a carb is.
Carbohydrate is an energy source.
So,
It's a glucose source that is going to break down in our body. It creates a metabolic effect depending on the quality of the protein source. Carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates, well, actually, not necessarily the complex, but the simpler carbohydrates like glucose and dextrose. Part of the reason why I consume those after my workout is because it helps with the protein synthesis or the repairing of the muscle tissue, and it pumps the amino acids into our muscle tissue to help with as a recovery. It's like they're like little building blocks and to keep building the muscle back up. Carbohydrates are essential. They're essential for energy. They're essential for digestion, for productivity, for brain clarity. And you don't need to understand carbohydrates. All you need to understand is how many carbohydrates you're consuming right now. So if you were to consume 110 grams of carbohydrate, and I'm just like, don't live or die by that sword. Track your carbohydrates as if you would normally track your proteins sensibly by removing the bar, removing the yogurt, removing the breads. What does that look like to you? If we were just to create almost a fictitious baseline, because you've heard me say this before, I start baselines, I start recommendations having the same amount of carbohydrates than as protein. If we're saying 110 grams of protein, let's aim for around 110 grams of carbohydrates. But don't be hard on yourself if it goes to like 130 or 140. If it's at 200, that could be alarming.
how so how do you track carbohydrates?
Same way you track proteins.
And I know, but just by label or
Yeah.
by
I'll show you one more example. Ready?
yeah.
This is my next meal, so I already have it out. I'm gonna get it ready right now. On the back here, can you read that? What's my serving?
Quarter cup, 140 grams.
Quarter cup what though?
Dry.
Dry. Okay, that's important to know for this. So I'm going to take this here. I have my trusty half cup measuring cup.
Is that the one that was behind the cupboard?
Behind the cupboard? No, it was a different one. No, yeah, you remember that, right? Yeah, I couldn't find that. That was a 1 cup measuring cup that I couldn't find.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna pour this in halfway. I do this I don't take any chances on my oats. So that's about half full, right?
Mm-hmm.
Need a little more. So right there, boom. I know I'm done. I'm done measuring this. I know that I've just poured 1 serving, which is 150 calories, into this bowl. I'm going to fill it with a little over 1 cup of water, put it in the microwave for 9 minutes, and I'm done. I know I just took in 27 grams of protein or carbohydrate, 5 grams of protein, 4 grams of fiber. You don't have to worry about fiber. These are things that I look for. 1 gram of sugar and 3 grams of fat. I know that. Why? Because I've done this enough times and it's just there.
So do you put anything in your oatmeal?
When it's done, yes, I will put in, I'll vary that. Today I'm gonna put in some dried cranberries. Today's a dried cranberry day.
Okay.
So it's really no different. Same thing with like potatoes. If you were to have, I don't have a bag with me, but you look at that bag of pre-cut, pre-shredded hash browns. I don't know what it is. Is it a half cup? Is it a cup of serving? I'm not sure. I can't recall what that is. But usually next to whatever it says for 1 cup, it's going to give you grams. Always go with grams or with ounces because that's going to be most accurate.
Okay.
And then any questions you have with measuring, just, I know a great resource.
Me too. All right. Well, this will be good. I think right now I'll look over what we discussed. I'll make out a shopping list, and I'm going to make a commitment to go to the store before our mastermind call,
Awesome.
because
And
then I'll be set later for dinner after my walk that I take this afternoon to complete my commitments for today.
Yes. And then just again, let's revisit the fact that just create the routine, the same thing, like the same foods even. If you're doing chicken for lunch, let's say, and you're sort of tired of chicken after 4 or 5 days, okay, then just do like a turkey tenderloin or like a pork tenderloin or something that's going to be of a different quality of protein. And same thing with your carbohydrate. If you're choosing sweet potatoes as a carbohydrate source for for 4 or 5 days, then just swap out your carbohydrate source with the same serving size to, again, like quinoa or couscous or something that's going to be
Well,
serving.
tomorrow is our anniversary, so
No way.
we're having lobster tail and fillet.
There you go.
So that's going to be a great protein source for dinner.
That'll be a tremendous protein source for dinner.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary in advance. How many years now?
43 years.
Whoa, that's right. Yeah.
And since how old you are?
Yeah. As long as it's not the planet.
As old as you are, as long as you've been on this earth, I've been married.
Yep. Congratulations. God bless.
Thank you. I got lucky.
No, he got lucky.
We both got lucky. Match made in heaven. That was what the promise was.
That's right. You are a promise keeper. You've been a promise keeper for 43 years.
Mm-hmm. Committed, consistent.
Responsible.
Yeah. So, well,
All right.
Thank you for this time. Wow, an hour and a half of your time is so valued. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you, Gail, and thanks so much for your attention and talking about the things that we talked about before your nutrition.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of things that are gonna be exciting. Now I just got to make the room for it and just get it all prepared. That's what takes the time.
Well, attraction, right? We're attracting opportunities. So
that's it. I will see you in an hour and a half. And then you can choose if you want to record it because I won't be on the whole call, or if I can just throw an announcement in the group and maybe Peter wants to record it.
Okay.
I'll do that now.
All right.
All right. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
All right.